Let's move on.
Drinking craft beer, having fun, and talking sports in the state of Michigan. You're listening to State of My Sports.
So as I mentioned in the intro, the Detroit Lions did not lose, which is awesome. Nice change of pace here. They went into the playoff contending Pittsburgh Steelers house and pulled out a nice 16-16 tie. All joking aside, I mean, when we found...
It kind of was a nice 16-16 tie.
It was such a weird game. It was
also terrible, but yeah.
It felt like such a waste of time after I turned it off. I was like, why did I just do that? Like, it just...
I was cracking up. That's the thing. Like, Ari and I sat on the couch and watched the whole game together, and it was a ton of fun. And he just kept asking question after question. At the end, he's looking at me. He's like, "Why are the Lions so bad at kicking?" And I'm just like, "Well,
it's a great question.
You know what? In past years, that's the one position that we could actually say was pretty good, like above average to really, really good."
Well, yeah, I mean,
with Jason Hansen and Prater, we had a good stretch there. And I'm like, "Well, I don't know, buddy. It's just not their year for it."
It was rough watch. I mean, really, when we found out that Big Ben wasn't going to play, it kind of changed some things. I think we went into it being like a guaranteed loss, and then it was like, man, this could be the one, that gets him off the schneid, if you will. Coming off the bye, Jared Goff went 14 of 25 for 114 yards.
And about 113 of those are probably in overtime, right?
That's crazy. With Jamal Williams out again, Swift had 33 carries for 130 yards rushing for a 3.9 average. Jamar Jefferson had 41 yards on 3 carries and the 28-yard touchdown run before getting hurt. And then Igwebuike?
I gotta see it first. I'm trying to find it on the sheet.
He had 56 yards on 2 carries, which included a 42-yard rushing touchdown. Santos missed an extra point and missed a potential game-winning 48-yard field goal in overtime. The defense had 3 takeaways, but really, I mean, just ugly football game.
Yeah,
very, very ugly. I mean, I just wish the Lions found a way to win so I could kind of get that winless season out of the way. And here I am as a fan, like feeling like it matters. Like I cannot imagine they probably feel the exact same way.
Well,
need this first win, and then you can just put that behind you, right?
Yeah, because you don't want to be known as the only winless team to not, to just have a tie in there too. Because we've done the 0-16. Okay, so we checked the box for not being 0-17, but how embarrassing would it be to be 0-16-1?
I feel like that'd be more embarrassing than 0-17.
I think so too.
In a lot of ways.
Even 0-16, like looking back at the 2 years, if we do go 0-16-1, like the 1 makes it so much worse than just the 0-16. It's like at least we knew we were bad. We don't even know what we are at this point.
Yeah,
we're just bad who ties games we should win.
It's one of the weirdest games. It's such a weird team to watch. So I mean, let's start with Goff. Fighting some injuries and stuff is never easy, but man, 113 yards.
What was that?
I don't know, man. It's weird. I guess there are rumors that he might not be playing this weekend.
Yeah, I kind of heard that too, and I don't even know. I heard it was abdominal side strain or something like that. The pain that he had there. Look, if you're not capable of throwing the ball, then next guy up.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, and I don't think David Blau is a good quarterback. I'm not
he's
brainwashed.
2 out of 3 snaps he's taken this year.
Right. But he can throw the ball. He can at least throw the ball down the field,
he's
and
healthy.
It might get picked, and it might be but he's healthy, and that's what he's there for.
Yep. And do you think so? Dan Campbell was on 97 won the ticket. It was either yesterday or today. I guess it doesn't really matter. But like Dan Campbell was asked, like, did he think about pulling him? And he goes, yeah, we thought about it. And they're like, do you wish you did? And he's like, well, I just trusted the doctors and trusted my gut, and it seemed like he was second guessing himself of keeping him in that game.
Well, and I think there might be some things that he was not trying to keep away from people understanding like what was going through his mind, keeping things a little bit secret, close to the chest, whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
And probably this is I'm just going to go on a tangent here. This is the way, if I'm putting myself in his shoes, this is the way I would want to see that.
Sorry, Dan Campbell's shoes?
Dan Campbell.
Okay,
if I'm jumping into his mind, this is the way I'd see the game. I would say, okay, the only thing that's going to work either way with quarterback Goff or backup quarterback Blau is going to be the run game.
Yep.
They found something that started working midway through the game. They ran with their 2 tight end set, extra linemen.
The extra lineman thing was crazy
with
to
the
watch.
2 tight ends. Like, they were just out there to block, and that was it. They were not fooling anybody, and the Steelers could not react to it. At that time, at least.
Yeah, they had over 200 yards rushing. That's for people that don't watch every Lions game. That doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. And we went on a dominant stretch there where we were rushing the ball 2nd and 12 and getting first downs. We were running the ball 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 and getting first downs.
Mm-hmm.
And then running with some more, and they couldn't do anything. We were just doing the same play left, same play right.
Yeah.
So in his mind, I guarantee he's like, well, at least I have Goff out there. I haven't formally admitted that there's something going on with him, and the defense can't fully commit against it.
Yep.
And that's kind of where my head is at, because maybe they were trying to still decide how much he could throw the ball, or how serious the injury was, and that was probably going on middle of the game when this kind of stretch happened. And then at that point, it's like, what are you going to do? Bring in Blau for the last drive of the game and go lose the game by throwing your first
then
throw?
Everybody's going to question that, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what to think about it. I didn't realize it was as bad as it was, but then I'm like going back and I'm like, they were literally like wrapping him in medical tape or whatever, and then taking it off so he could go out in the field. It's like, wait, if he
were they heating
he's in that much pain, like that he has to be wrapped for a 3-minute drive around the sideline or whatever. It's like, man, it seemed very odd, and he seemed to almost be second guessing himself in his decision to keep Goff in. It was bad, and
I will say this was also, it's worth noting, Dan Campbell's first game calling plays.
That's a good point. What did you think about that?
Well, he's a self-admitted
coordinator,
yeah, not X's and O's guy, but rather a leader of men. So
yeah, what did you think?
I like it.
I
like it.
Okay.
I like it because it is holding his own guys accountable.
Yeah.
Exactly what he claimed he would do as head coach coming in. And so if he felt like, look, this is not getting done the way I want it done, I'm going to take over, I'm going to hold you accountable, that you're not doing a good enough job, then it's at least providing the optics to the rest of the team that, like, you know what, this isn't good enough yet. I'm going to step in and say, we're going to change something. We're going to do something different. We're going to do something better. And guess what? They didn't lose. They tied.
Yeah. Do you think it was almost like so he knows what's being said to Goff? Like, it's almost it as much as he put Anthony Lynn on notice and be like, hey, I'm going to take over play calling, he just it almost felt like he was testing Goff a little bit more.
100%.
And being like, look, I know what's being relayed to you now.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know if he could hear, like, I don't know how all of the sound
he's the only one.
stuff works. But like,
there's only one person that gets to talk back and forth with Goff.
Yeah. And I'm curious if that was like his final straw, being like, okay, what's actually really going on? You know what I mean? Like, if he's the one controlling it and making these decisions and specifically saying to Goff X, Y, and Z, and he's not getting X, Y, and Z, he's getting A, B, and C, now he can be like, you are at fault here. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And they're kind of going back and forth. A lot of the sports talk is like, well, you just signed Anthony Lynn's death certificate, basically. Like, he's gone. He's not going to stay. You demoted him and all that stuff. It almost felt like there was more behind that decision.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think Anthony Lynn's called a good offensive game by any means, but I also don't think he has much to work with. And I'm really
Agreed.
starting to think Goff does not give a crap right now. Like, I feel like he is just done in the NFL. Like, he doesn't even want to be there. It's really strange to see. But he says all the right things. He's a good guy when he's talking and stuff. It's just like, man,
yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah, I'm over him. You guys have known that for a long time at this point. But this season is also not just a lost season in my mind. We're getting a really good draft pick next year.
Yeah.
That's important to me as a fan. We are, from the beginning of the year, we knew we were not going to be good. Now, I went on record and said this is not a winless team. We have too much talent for that. And it's taken a
mock draft stock or no?
I'm game. Number 1 overall. The pick is in.
Yeah.
Kayvon Thibodeau.
There we go. No, sorry, I cut you off there,
or some of the Michigan Hens, either one, or Jabo.
Right. I did hear a crazy stat that air yards. I guess that's like a really popular thing. He had his average throw was 5 air yards. So that's not even yards. I mean, if you just want to call it a yard,
I think the
and round
completions.
down.
I think the completions were like 2 yards an attempt.
It's
downfield.
That's scary, and that's not injury. An injured quarterback can throw the ball 15 yards. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I don't know how structured you want this discussion to be, but and then, like in overtime, when we are in good field position and all we need to do is kind of chip our way a little bit closer, now he becomes aggressive. Now he throws the ball down the field 13, 15 yards. It's like, if you were incapable of throwing the ball 15, 20 yards down the field for the entire game, why are you doing it right now?
Yeah.
Like that hurt us. And then, like they're running these deep routes and stuff, and he's trying to throw a ball 15 yards, and then he gets sacked and fumbled. It's like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Check it down. That's the only time people want you to check it down. Move the ball 5, 10, 12 yards at a time at that point.
Yeah, Dan Orlovsky's famous for running out of the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
I feel like Goff's famous for trying a spin move out of right into somebody.
The slowest
spin into the
sack.
It's so bad. Like,
why
honestly,
does he do that?
If I didn't know any better, and I'm not going to question a guy's like manhood or anything like that. Like, but it almost seems like he's trying to sabotage his team more than help this team. That's honestly how bad it has been. And that's a scary.
No, I agree with you. I don't remember, like, if you watch the game, there are not many times where he steps up into the pocket and then makes a throw. Like, no. They're all really quick throws, or he starts like kind of rolling right and left and then checking down. But very rarely does he step up into the pocket and throw the ball 10 plus yards down the field. Like, we see that more out of Cade McNamara.
We do, yeah.
Right? I mean, that's not saying a lot because he checks the ball down to, across the middle all the time.
Yep.
But at least, like, to get away from a rush, he understands to move forward. Goff just turns his back and starts running backwards to, like, do this most unathletic spin I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And he gets sacked. You're right about that. You're spot on. That move is insanely bad. I can't imagine it being worse.
It's really bad. All right, real quick, I'm going to throw out some numbers here. St. Brown, 4 catches, 61 yards. T.J. Hawkinson, 1 target, 0 catches. I think he had 2 holding penalties. There was one of them chop block, maybe. I guess it doesn't matter.
The chop block was called, or it was declined, I guess.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
But he had 2 penalties that were accepted, I think, and then another one that was declined, maybe. Is this becoming a growing concern, or is this just what we just talked about with Goff, and he's our one weapon, and it's just not there? Like, what? I don't know what to think about him.
To me, this is on Goff. This game. Well, I mean, you look at the conditions of the game. It was not an easy game to play in.
Yeah.
If Big Ben was out there, it was going to be sloppy for him too. Like, the receivers were fumbling. Everybody was dropping balls left and right.
Yeah.
That was the nature of the game. So let's take a little bit of, like, Hawkinson's 1-2 weeks removed from 8 catches, 9 catches, and a ton of yards. Like, this is not on Hawkinson. This is on the play calling throughout the game, the conditions of the game, and Goff's inability to throw the ball.
Yeah. Josh Reynolds claimed off waivers. He didn't play on Sunday, but should be able to play this weekend. Definitely walks in as our best wide receiver, right? He's not anything to get too excited about, but you look at our leading wide receivers is Khalif Raymond with 363 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, I would not be surprised. Like, let's say Goff either learns how to throw the ball or they move on from him. I could see Reynolds being our leading receiver in both touchdowns and yards by the end of the season. Is that fair? That he's
out of the wide receiver group?
Out of wide receiver group.
I don't think it's out of the question.
Amon-Ra St. Brown could probably.
Well, it's not out of the question, though. You're right. Yeah.
That's just crazy to think about. Swift had a really good game. Really cool to see him get 130 yards. Nice to see a guy get over 100 yards in Detroit. That doesn't happen often. We should raise a banner or something like that. But Decker came back as well. Made the O-line look better. I love the way that they brought in the extra lineman that we already talked about. But I think both Decker, I mean, he looked a little rusty at times. But really,
a few times.
But just solid. Yeah. And I thought Sewell, you didn't notice him. And that's exactly what you want from your right tackle. I thought they both played very well. And that was a sign of what they wanted this to be.
There you go. Surprise, surprise. Penei Sewell goes to the right side, and he looks just as comfortable over there as he does on the left side. The whole, preseason freak out that Penei Sewell was an absolute bust and it was the worst pick ever was just unfounded. Like, it never surprises me. Well, I take it back. It actually always surprises me how quick or how fast fans react the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like I am a pretty, I'm a big fan of a lot of sports, but I'm pretty reserved in my thoughts because I try to think of things from like the real world. Like, well, look, rookie, this situation, preseason, whatever. He's matched up against the Bears. Like you got beat inside twice out of the game. Yeah, that happens. People freak out about the dumbest things, and they just like want to draw the biggest conclusions. He looked good on the right side. That was a huge thing to me. I'm really happy to see it, and I think bringing Taylor Decker back to this offensive line only helps it so much more than where this was going with our right tackle out, our center out, our left tackle out, having to move our right to our left.
Yeah.
Like it was getting to a point where this was starting to become a real concern, and this just gives a little bit more stability to that
It
group.
helps see the vision, and it helps see why you drafted Sewell when you did. Obviously, it didn't look like, you see all these wide receivers going off and, just players that are making more of an impact, but offensive linemen don't make impact, But now when you see the built, and we're still missing a Pro Bowl center, so that's another
top 2-3 in
crazy
football.
thing. Like this offensive line will make this offense better, and we're starting to see it, and that's exciting to see. And I like that Decker's back. I think he's really important for a guy like Sewell to learn from, to learn how to be a professional.
Yeah. So the day immediately after the game, he went on record and started trashing the Detroit media and did all this stuff. I don't need to get like your full thoughts on it, but I want to tell you my perspective first because I feel like I think people are trashing him pretty hard for it, and I like where he came from. He was saying more of like, hey guys, look, before you go out and jump all over me, a Detroit guy who's given a bunch of my life and my livelihood to this franchise, and I've gone through some tough years and I've worked my butt off, and like I'm really important. He has solidified himself as a top 7 to 10 left tackle in all of football over the last couple of years.
Yep.
That is high praise for the most for the most talented position on the offensive line. He is an upper tier left tackle in the NFL. That's saying a lot.
Yep.
So for us to just move on from him, like Detroit sports wanted, like get him out of there. Penei Sewell is going to be a Hall of Famer. You put him over there and then build somewhere else. Wait, slow your roll a little bit. Taylor Decker adds a lot to this offensive line group. He is very, very good at what he does on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
He's trustworthy. So this is the Darius Slay situation coming right back to us. Are we going to draft Jeffrey Okudah and get rid of Darius Slay and say it's a 1-for-1 trade and we didn't get any better? And in fact, Jeffrey Okudah is not as good as we thought he was, and he's hurt all the time. So now it's a negative. It's minus to the team. That's the same type of situation that we're going to be looking at with this, and I think it was just fine for him to call out the media and say, screw you guys. I am actually really good. I'm valuable to this team, and I've given a lot to this team. You guys throw me aside.
Yeah.
For what? For me doing, having hand issues that I couldn't do anything about.
Yeah. No, I get it, and I do agree with you. I'm okay with him calling out the media for all of that crap. I feel like he did kind of call out fans, and I'm never a fan of that because I don't think you can win. Like you're never gonna win calling out fans. And when I hear that and like all the stuff that the Lions are going through, and I'm sure Decker's sitting there frustrated as all get out for where he's at.
That he can't join the team. That he can't
join. Like, well, not only that, but like this is gonna take some time. This isn't gonna be an easy rebuild or anything like that. And I feel like if he's mad at something, like it could just turn into being like, all right, I'm done. You know what I mean? And it almost felt like closer to the beginning of the end rather than being like, I am for this city, I am this. It was more like, screw you guys, screw your opinions. I'm about to be done here anyways. Like that's my fear, I guess. I get what you're saying. I'm okay with people saying, yeah, Mike Valenti, you're an idiot for calling out Decker and his hand injury, and you don't know the half of it.
Yeah.
So don't pretend that you do. Like,
that was where that was directed, right?
Yeah, it was definitely at Valenti, I would say.
Not just him. The chorus after him kind of joined in.
Yeah.
But I think it was pointed like at the top towards him.
Yeah, that's the way I felt it. He did say fans, which I don't like that.
No, he didn't. He said a lot of fans and everybody in this building knows what I bring to the table, and they're appreciative of me.
Yeah,
so he actually said that the fans were on his side, and then he specifically targeted what he was saying to the media.
Okay.
And the part of me, like, I don't disagree with your rationale or anybody's rationale for wanting to move on or even being upset for him saying this because he's kind of acting like a little bit of a crybaby. I get that. What I really like about it is I share his same disdain of media in general.
Yeah.
And their ability to just forget and like lose logic and reality and whatever they say. And because they were just jumping away. Again, this was like, look at this amazing line that we put together. He has a hand injury. Penei Sewell moves over there and screw him. He's trash.
Yeah.
Trade him. Get rid of him. Whatever. Don't bring him back. Let Penei Sewell do there or stay on the left side. He's like, guys, how can you be so absurd? Like, I will make this line better, and we'll see it that way.
No, I do agree with that. I guess we'll see. Hopefully, it doesn't turn into more. You know what I mean? I hope.
Yeah.
Media doesn't come back and grill him and it turn into be like, screw you guys, double middle fingers.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a back and forth.
I hope it doesn't turn to that.
And it's really on him to be the bigger man at this point.
Yes.
And I hope he
got it out of his system,
Yes.
and hopefully he can just move on from it.
Yep.